Hey, this is Keith from Outlaw Speed Shop, and this week I am doing a Flames Challenge issued by Paul over at Diecast Graveyard. I'm doing a Hot Wheels convertible 70 Chevelle, and the challenge is to not use decals, but put flames on a car that didn't originally have flames. So this was quite the challenge. Some of the people involved, as of the editing of this video, are being listed on the screen currently. There may be a few more, but at the time of this actual edit, this is the complete list that I currently have. And I think it's going to be quite a challenge. As always, if you like the content, make sure you subscribe and ring the bell so you get notified of all future videos. So yeah, I started with the Chevelle. It's a Hot Wheels plastic base. Nothing fancy, but it's a convertible, and any of you know me personally know that Chevelle is my favorite vehicle of all time, having owned quite a few myself. I found some Real Rider wheels that are going to work perfectly for them as far as size goes. So to pry off the existing wheels, this one was a little bit of a challenge, only because the groove that they sat in on the back was a little deeper, so it was harder to get at with the pick, but they do pop right out, and it's just 3 little plastic tabs that hold it in. And sometimes you can get lucky and they pop right out without breaking. And then I just take my screwdriver and pry them back a little bit, just on the off chance I can actually use them, and I don't need to make axle tubes or whatever, which at this stage I don't know because of the actual wheels I'm using. I'm not sure on the axle width. So I try to maintain the tabs if I can. Very rarely do I use them, but it's just a good habit, at least one that I try to practice. The wheels actually in this case the axles were way too wide, but essentially it's kind of old school torque thrust Krager looking wheels, so it fits the motif of the actual 70s Chevelle. So I threw it in a citrus strip overnight. You don't have to, but I put it in overnight because I have a horrible memory, and usually by the time I get out of work, I just kind of toss it in and worry about it the next day. So it works out good for me based on my schedule. If you leave it in there, it doesn't do any damage, or at least I haven't had it do any damage. And then when I take it out, I just use my Dremel tool with some wire brush attachments to clean off any residue, and then I'll use a Scotch-Brite pad to just kind of smooth out there's always just a little bit of residue or a film left on it, so I find that the Scotch-Brite pad helps get all that off. And then I'll go through, I'll look for blemishes, casting lines that are really bad, depending upon the car. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. This one was pretty decent, and once I'm done that, then I'll just take my pick and I will just run it along all the body lines, doors, hood, trunk, anything like that, just to get out any extra residue. Sometimes you don't even see it, but it is there, and it will affect your paint job if there's any citrus strip left in there or whatever. But after that's done, I paint it white. Then I'm going to go with a liquid gray from Splash Paints. So here's where my challenge begins. That's the car painted. It's a base coat clear coat system, so it's a dull finish at the moment. So I got these decals. They're designed for airbrushing, and I bought like 4 sets. This was the only set that even remotely close to scale of what I wanted. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to make like a template that I can actually stick to the car. And I wanted to do ghost flames, and I did. It didn't come out how I wanted it to, but regardless, at this stage, I'm optimistic, and wrongfully so. But anyways, I'm going to try to put it on some tape and then use an X-Acto knife, a brand new blade, to try to cut out the 3 licks that are going to fit on the hood. That's why I'd sized it up. So I'm using a piece of glass only because it's just easier. It's actually picture frame glass, which I gotta put back before my wife realizes it's missing. But anyways, that was kind of what I was trying to do, in hopes that I know a lot of people use like the Cricut machine or anything like that to make little vinyl templates. I don't have one. I'd love to get one. I just haven't had the time to do the research and all that crap. So, unfortunately, because of the size of the flames and not having a steady hand, it just really didn't work out. I started cleaning out the stuff I missed, and I was tearing it, and I gave up and didn't even try a second time. It just, you can see right there, I just said, fuck it. So it's just one of those things that didn't work. So then I'm like, okay, maybe I can find a way to tape it down a little bit. And since I'm doing ghost flames anyways, I don't need a harsh, or I don't even want a harsh line. But with the Chevelle hood, it's not a flat surface. It's got the cowl induction. So it made it awkward. I ended up doing it twice. The first time was atrocious. I didn't show that because I wasn't filming it at the time. But it's one of those things that, you just got trial and error. I was going to hand draw them on, and I tried a bunch of different pens. I didn't have much success. I finally, after I finished this video, got some in that I think are going to work, at least for black, to be able to draw an outline, and then maybe I could have hand painted them in, which is something I want to try in the future. They're like a pigment pen, not an ink pen. So I think they'll work. I tried it on a couple cars, and it seemed to work pretty good. So I'm anxious to try that. But at this stage, this is what I had. I was getting down to somewhat the 11th hour, so I kind of need the shit to get off the pot and just do something. And the only way to try it was to actually do it. So here I'm kind of hemming and hawing about how I'm going to do it, but I need it to be able to sit flush. And not just one part of it, the whole thing. And then I want something on the sides as well. So taping and getting them down there was more trouble than it was worth. I mean, I don't think it didn't come out bad in the end, but it's certainly, I'm not happy with it. But I did learn a lot. So to me, at this stage of the game, having the experience that I gained from doing this was worth the shitty result that I got. So I got 3 paints. I got a yellow, an orange, and a red, all from Splash Paints. And I'm going to drip it everywhere because I'm an idiot. And I was in a rush when I did this. So I'm just going to, it looks flush here, but the template is somewhat raised. So I'm trying to just mist it on there and layer it, put the yellow down, semi-heavy, then put the orange down, and then do the tips with red. That was the goal, and I definitely achieved that. However, but because the template, it's like a thin plastic. I don't know what mill it is, but it's real thin, but it's still stiff. Because it wouldn't sit flush on the vehicle, I couldn't soak it, and with any pass at all. So it made it difficult to be able to get any kind of a solid look to the flames. You'll see what I'm talking about when I do the reveal. But if I was trying to, maybe if I did it like a van and I had a flat surface to work. Gray, and then I tried a different silver. So here you can kind of see it, and I'm going to put like a sparkle candy on it to give it a uniform look, and then clear coat it. But the sides didn't come out. They're there, but they like really, really ghosted. You can't see them at all. A certain light you can see them, but the hood you can see pretty decent. It's not as ghost as I want. My original idea, as I was saying, was to go, with the gray car and then like a little bit lighter silver for the flames itself, almost like a mist. And that failed miserably. I think, and it wasn't so much anything. It was just the paint I chose to do it, the color I chose, and then not putting it on heavy enough. When I pulled the templates off, it didn't even look like I did anything. You could almost see like a shadow and it was even faint. So it was a total fail. Hence why I decided to go with the actual colors. Here you can see me making some axle tubes. I use axle pieces to, or piano wire axle pieces to help cut the grooves in it. Just makes it easier so I don't cut all the way through. When I see sparks, I know I'm far enough. And that gives me a little hole to put my glue in so that I'm not trying to glue the end. I'm gluing more in the middle. And that helps make sure that my wheels don't lock up on me. And as usual, just like I say with every video, when you cut your axles, usually they're too long to begin with, which is why you're using axle tubes. Make sure you trim them down so that when you push one in, the other doesn't push out, because that sucks when you're doing, and you already get your glue in there, and then you got to take it out, and you got to trim it, and you got to try to fit it back in, and now you got glue everywhere, and it's just good practice to fit them first. It takes 30 seconds to do, and it'll save you a ton of aggravation in the end. So I painted the chassis black. I masked off the front and rear bumper. That's the Chaos black that I use on just about everything from Citadel in the spray can. I just like the finish. It's a nice satin finish. You can pretty much put it on anything. I don't strip the chrome. I just put it right on. Then I'll put like a matte clear. That way I don't have to worry about it. Same thing with the interior. I didn't like the white. It wasn't going to work with the silver. Did a little details, headlights, tail lights, marker lights, so on and so forth. And that's pretty much what I ended up with. You can kind of see it there a little bit, but again, I'm not 100% happy, but I'm glad this challenge came about. This is pretty much what I started with, which is this plain Jane pea green Chevelle with white interior and a fully chromed base and faster than ever wheels. This is kind of what I came up with. You can see it. And again, it's not horrible. I mean, I know I'm being kind of hard on myself, but I don't know. You be the judge. Make sure you check out everybody who's doing a video. Really, really great stuff. I'll have some links in the description below. Make sure you watch the other videos of the car here at the end and some photos. And I'll catch you on the next one.